Hey, everybody. How are you doing this wonderful day? I hope everybody is well. Welcome to Making Connections with Aly. That will be me. I hope everybody's having a great day, had a great week. And it's just beautiful. I don't know where you're tuning in from, but today it happens not to be raining. So I'm excited about that. And so, again, and I wanted to say thank you all for, continuing to support. Allie's August was very busy. And so we did do some reruns of some previous shows because we have inventory. Because sometimes life just happens, right? But Allie won't be gone for too long. She's always got to come back. She loves the live shows. And so we do have a guest that will be joining us in a little bit. Her name is Lulu I Love of the House of Ocean, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But you saw those flyers going across in the beginning. There's all type of things going on in the community. I know I was that type of person at one time. I was like, I want to get out of the house. I want to do something. Trust me, if you just look, there's stuff happening. There are people out in the neighborhoods feeding. Right before school started, they were doing backpacks. They do things for the youth. They do things for the elderly. There's a lady who's adopting seniors. They do senior boxes. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff going on. If there's something you're interested in and you haven't seen it on the page, just inbox us or, text us at that number 980-389-6826. And, we can, what's what we do? Make a connection. And so, hey there. And so, as our guest is coming in, just want to remind you that there are so many things going on in the community. If you're a person who likes to help, or if you're a person who needs help, don't just sit at the house and not get the help you need, because there's always somebody out there willing to do something. It's a start, right? And so, we've just been talking a lot about intention. Be intentional about your day, be intentional about your life, because you are important. And whatever gift you have is important to the world, right? And so I am excited about this interview. Um, the lady that we will be interviewing with is Lulu I Love of the House of Ocean. And I hope I said it right. She'll correct me in a minute, but it is a spiritual home for the intuitive community. And in your mind, you're like, okay, I know what intuitive means, but do I really know what intuitive means? And so I was like, what's the definition? And it just says it's something done from uh, with from instinct, or something that is easy to use. That definition still didn't help me, but it gave an example, and it was saying how a mother just senses that something is wrong with her child, and that's intuition. You get that feeling, and even like going in the house, you're like, I don't really know what's going on, but something is happening in my atmosphere, and so that is that intuition. And so, Miss Lulu, if you'll take yourself off of mute.
Hello, 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 hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Well, I want you to give you an opportunity just to introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we get into the interview.
Okay. My name is Lulu I Love. I created the House of Oshun, which is a spiritual home for the intuitive community, people who are really honing the innate ability to just feel, hear, see things. Um, when it comes to everyday life, not necessarily working with other people, because it works more with, healers heal themselves. That's where the work starts, with themselves and their family or what have you. I created the House of Oshun as just a spiritual community where people could come and ask certain questions. I would create different videos to assist them along their journey. And it turned into Ashe Tools for Intuitives, which is this is like part of the House of Oshun. Ashe Tools for Intuitives, which is ascension and spiritual expansion tools that I've created to help people get more familiar with themselves, like sort of like um, productivity tools for yourself, your children, or what have you, like holding yourself accountable.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I always like to like know like what the meaning behind names and things like that. What does Oshun mean?
Well, Oshun in herself is a well revered um, deity within herself. But the things that she stands for and those things that she stands for, those things that she's all about, those are things that I've been about my entire life. I'm about, how do we prosper? What is prosperity? Prosperity, fertility. Let's grow. Let's plant seeds and grow. Let's take care of our women, but more, even more so our men. Okay, a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of people forget our men,
Mhm.
um, and that's what I'll say about Oshun
Okay.
in this space. Yeah.
Well, I think it's pretty exciting because, like you said, I think different people have so many different gifts, and a lot of times, again, you have those feelings, or you have an inkling of what you can do or what you're about, but you really don't know how to tap in to see, okay, well, this gift I have, how do I use it? How do I help other people with it? You know what I'm saying? Or how do I, like you said, just heal myself? Um, and so I think I think this is very. I'm excited just to hear more about what you do
Oh,
and
thank you.
how it works.
Yeah, thank you. Because we are all born with gifts. If you really think about it, a carpenter is born with a certain type of gift. Some of them can measure. They have this innate ability to be able to measure certain things, and that's a gift, right? Not necessarily when it comes to reading futures and things like that, right? It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be in that way, but their intuition, like a neurosurgeon, right? You got to have a certain type. It takes certain types of people to do certain types of things, right? I'm sorry, we're all born with gifts. We're all born with what we need. And
Right.
if we hone those things that we are born with, sometimes it may take going to school or just really experiencing life to hone those gifts. Because all too often, the gifts that we are born with, our parents tell us that it's not right. We go under the conditioning because we're under the guise of our parents, and they tell us that it's not right, or they tell us that, you know, you're crazy.
Mhm.
This is how things go. Um, don't tell anyone that, because you have to remember that a lot of the children, here I go on a rant, but a lot of our children are being placed on medication who are highly intuitive. These children are geniuses. That's why they are so, when there's not any the right type of mental stimulation or the right types of things that are available to them, it can come off as like they are tired of the mundane. They don't have anything challenging them. And like even with, I know in my community, they close a lot of recreation centers. A lot of the after school programs no longer exist. Kids don't even have lockers in the schools, right? So what you do is you take what would be an extraordinarily a genius, right?
Mhm.
And you are dummying down a genius. And when a genius really needs to be out and be free, because a lot of the children that have been born in these past almost 20, 25 years, a lot of the kids that have been born were not the type of children who would can handle so much enclosed activity, being in a school for so long and not having to go from one class to the other without having some type of mental break, right? Because I don't even know if kids have recess the way that they used to. I am unsure. My children are grown.
I know. I'm not sure. I think they do the little children, but I don't think after a certain age. I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I
But
don't know either.
yeah, you're right. It's like it doesn't really matter the age. I mean, everybody needs that break or that time to recoup, or like even sometimes I was saying on the show, I think it was last Monday, I was saying sometimes when JT is on the show with me, sometimes I just want to sit and just take in what he just said. But because we're on the show, I got to keep going. But sometimes, that, and that's why I say about kids, they learn it different ways and different capacities. Some of them just need a minute just to take in all that you said. You can't just give it to them and then say, repeat it back to me. Do you know it? Like you said, then too, I always said that kids who are moving around a lot of stuff, I said they get bored. I said that doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. I know they have to learn, but
Right.
at the same time, putting them on medication is not really helping them learn. It's just helping them sit still.
Yes.
Are their
And
grades really improving?
yeah, and what it does overall is shuts down parts of the brain that they would need to in order to get out here and create for us some magnificent something that we've never seen before, or for them to be the best that they can be. They shut down parts of the brain that the child would need to grow. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of iffy, because there was a time back in, I know, even with raising my children, there was this whole, in the 90s, this movement, actually. I don't know how we started talking about this, but here we are. um, but there was this movement that um, really began with the bipolar children, the ADHD, ADD children, the early 90s. Moving, it was really it was happening a lot in 93, 92 and up, 92 and up, I believe.
Hmm.
And the problem is that there's always something that is created not only to suppress or repress the mental, the emotional, and the physical family, right? And what happened was, the women, of course, the men are not in the house, so the women are using it as a check. I'll put my child on this medicine for a check. I just won't give my child the medicine all the time. I'll give them enough medicine for them to have it in their blood if they get a blood test, right? I'll give them enough medicine to where I can get this check every month. So a lot of women did that. And then what happened was, around they had already put into play in the late 80s, right?
Hmm.
We're not gonna go too far back, because a lot of this stuff been in the plan. But
Right.
in the 80s, they started to make it where the kids could call the police on the parents. Okay. You couldn't whoop your children and things like that. And of course, there are a lot of split views about that. But I'm just looking at the process here in my lifetime.
Right.
So in the 80s, they started to shut down that they already, the men on crack, right? So they already shutting down the home. So now you can't whoop your children. Your kids call the police on you. You can go to jail if your kids don't go to school. In the 90s, they made it where, because this was a breakdown, when people are using their full faculties, when they're using their full mental faculties, physical and spiritual, you are a cold person to be around. You are a cold person. You have the ability to focus and make things happen out here in this world. But they got to shut the children down first. They got to break the women, break the backs of the men, break the women, and then make it where the child doesn't even have a stable environment, because the school to jail pipeline comes into play. So all of those things come into play. So that's part of, like, there are many reasons, because people do use this journal with their children as well, and a lot of people have actually bought it to work with their children. So that's why I can go any which way on conversation about how this journal can help people, right?
Hmm.
um, so the children get on the medicine, the parents, the mother is getting a check for the child, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then the child, when they're not on this medicine, because a lot of if you put somebody on that type of medicine, they gonna have to keep taking
Right.
it. And when they don't take it, if you don't have the proper tools to wean them off and have them in a space where you are helped, it's like a drug addict,
It
right?
really is. Hmm.
So when they do that, what happens is, there's a lot of chemicals and things like that in the food. Then you got that the father isn't in the house. You got that um, the mother is thinking that she can do everything herself, right? Or that she's using the government, whatever. There's a number of different scenarios, right?
Right.
So then you have these children. Oh, this the other thing they did. They took insane asylums. You can't plead crazy anymore. No. So remember back in the 70s, people could plead crazy, or they could go to a psych ward. And even if it's not documented, if your attorney can prove that you may have been out your mind for 10 minutes or a second when you did that, you
Mm-hmm.
used to be able to go to the psych ward or go to a psych hospital and do
Right.
time in there instead of being put in the penitentiary.
Right.
So they took the psych wards. They took the psych hospitals. The psych hospitals now aren't like what they were back in the 80s and early
Mm-hmm.
90s. So now your kids are on this medicine. You're not taking time out there, made it where you have a 9 to 5 where you don't like you don't have time for the ones who have a job or the ones who even, want to tend to their children but can't because of finances. You don't have time to uh, work with your child and figure out what it is. What do you need to be doing? You don't have time to really go and if they're not in some type of sport, you don't have time to get that mental stimulation. You don't have time. They made it where it's not enough time for you to do that because they need your child in the penitentiary. So the mom is working or the mom is just sitting around getting a check. The child is on and off medicine. The child goes to school, does some things, gets arrested. Now, number one, you already aren't financially capable of even trying to pay for an attorney, let alone a mediator or ombudsman or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
Your child gets in trouble, they go ahead and start throwing them in juvenile, go ahead and start giving them a record early. They preparing them. They're not worrying about the record at the hospital or the clinic that you getting the drugs that they got them on there. Y'all put them on drugs. Y'all said it was okay for them to be on drugs. These are adverse reactions that y'all are seeing because y'all got him on drugs. He's a drug addict. A fucking it's a drug addict. I did good actually, Ellie. But yeah, it's a deep seated cycle that they've created. So yeah, so this journal will help them with that, but also helps the parents to understand what they need to do with working with their children, um,
Right.
or what have you. Let me hush because I do get to talking.
No, but I know what you're saying. It's like you said, it becomes a cycle. And what we have to do as, the parents, as the adults, we have to carve out some time for our children. We have to, and even when they're, what they say, acting up in school and all that kind of stuff, we have to sit down and, not just be like, well, you better sit down. I'm gonna come up there and I'm gonna bust your tail. Da, 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 da. We have to sit down and be like, okay, what's happening? Why are you so active? Have you finished your work? I mean, there's just another way to go about it. And like you said, in our generation growing up, I mean, we had rules. You go to school, you sit still for 8 hours a day. I mean, how many adults sit still? If you go to work on a job, you go into the bathroom, you're going to get some water, you're going to talk to your friend. Now, how we think the kids not gonna want to do that, right?
Right.
And so I feel what you're saying though.
Yeah.
And
And
we
these are
got.
different types of children too, though. Now old folks used to say something different about that one. That one been here before, right?
Hmm.
And so these are very because you can hand a 2 or 3 year old a phone and they'll figure out how it works before you and quickly.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I remember they did a study some time ago. I can't remember the study where they said that by I think 2050 something, the people would have these huge heads because they would be so intelligent and so filled with information. I don't know if that was literal or figuratively, if they were
Hmm.
figuratively speaking,
Hmm.
but I can see where it makes sense as far as you have all this information at your hand. When do you have time to really process it? When do you have time to get to know you? And then we're in this social media thing where these kids are committing suicide over not getting enough likes. They're committing suicide because they don't have like they don't feel accepted or it's I, baby,
It's a lot.
it's not even real.
Hmm.
It's not even real. Outside is real. What's around you is real. And if they could take them back to that, a lot of kids are depressed. I don't know the statistics on the depression, but a lot of children are depressed.
Yep.
A lot of kids pick up where possibly someone else in the family left off with those generational cycles. We have to pinpoint those things or try. You can only do so much, right?
Right.
Because we as parents are trying to not do. what we saw our parents do, and by doing so, we're trying to create a new way of dealing with. Well, not all of us. I'm speaking from my experience. We try to create a new way of doing things that really can turn around and bite you too, because you this is new. This is a new playing field, right?
Right.
So no one has instructions on how to even be an adult. Hmm.
Truly, you're right about that, honey. And like you said, I think sometimes, we're like, we're not going to treat our kids like our parents treat us, but then we go to the extreme and we
Yeah,
don't give them any boundaries. We don't give them any, deadlines for being home before the street lights come in. You know what I'm saying? We're letting them be free, but when you let them be so free, they're free to receive and be around things that are not good for them. So you're right. There is no instruction manual, and it would be so nice if there was. But
right.
and then if you have like multiple children, every one of them is different. This one
Yeah,
might be a homebody, and you want them to get out of the house a little bit, just a little bit. This one won't ever come home, and so you just like. And then as a parent, you got to juggle all those, and how do I love this one? How do I make sure this one knows that I care the same about them, but this one needs a little bit more attention? And how do I let this one know I'm not I'm not giving them more attention because I love them more, but just because they need more instruction than you do, because you're more self-sustaining. So
right.
it's a lot.
Oh yeah, it is. And the thing about that though, I was a teenage mother, so I had my kids early, right? And my what you learn while you are pregnant, you get to know them. And this is just, I had to go through it so that I could talk about it, because if had I known exactly how all of this played out, excuse me,
Mhm.
how if I had known how all of this was like, if this was going to be the blueprint to help someone else, okay, I wish someone would have gave it to me, and I didn't have to go through it and figure it out, like with what you said,
Right.
like kids, because those boys are a different breed of species raising as a woman, okay? But what I learned in my life, you know, is that when you are pregnant, you get your child's patterns. You can figure out when they will wake, when they'll be hungry, because they come out here and do the same thing. That's the beginning.
Hmm.
You see what type of if they're a chill, laid back kid. When do they move? How often do they move? All of that happens in the stomach, right? In your uh,
Well,
while you're pregnant.
mm-hmm.
And then when you have them, you notice that because even with the things that you crave, that's usually their favorite food, right?
Right.
So I learned all of this because I've always been an observer of people. That's where everything comes from. By me telling this, then people can get kind of this. I observe. I observe myself. I observe everything around me. Whatever is happening, that was my teacher, right? That was my school.
Right.
And so the kids get here, and then you can just see, child, child, child. You can see it early. You begin to see, like you said, all the different personalities, how each one will need to be treated. But here's the thing about that. Uh, Also, that goes with that, it takes a village, right?
Mm-hmm.
With it taking a village to raise children, if the village turns on the person that's trying to, like, I see what needs to be done, because that's part of my story. I see what needs to be done. No matter how much of a hard, I was a very much so a hard ass, right? So I was like, I see what needs to be done. You cannot tell people how to raise their children. That's
Yeah.
why I don't tell. I suggest this is something that you could possibly use, right? So
Right.
as my children were growing, I began to notice certain things. Even though I'm with my children, I notice these things. I notice how this one needs this and this one, and who child is just so, it's very much so a ghetto place. And I had a lot of resistance from people that didn't. They weren't paying my bills. They weren't in on nothing. It was like that was part of my life lesson, knowing that no matter what I build or what I'm trying to do, people will come to destroy it, right? Or try to tear it down because it's me doing it. If it was anybody else, they'll help.
Right.
Okay, so with my children, I just saw how it is. I had one child that you can give him a brand new Christmas toy, and I promise you, he will give it right away. He didn't. treasure or not necessarily treasure, but like that didn't excite him. He'd rather have two pencils than playing football with them. So he grew up to be a child or a man who is not asking for much in life. He's still trying to figure it out, you
Mhm.
see. But that
Right.
started when he was young. He ain't steal that from nobody. He been trying to figure out what does he want in life since
Right.
he was young. Very intelligent, one of those, you know, very intelligent. And I'm not one to like, oh baby, my baby, this my no. He's very intelligent, right? Then I had one. It's just like he just loved being around his cousins and doing sagging his pants and stuff. Come home, man, what are you doing? You know, we wear belts in this house, but I could see how fascinated he was by that.
Mhm.
So I knew early on, this boy ain't gonna do too much listening because I also know my blood running here. I wasn't doing too much listening. You couldn't tell me I wasn't grown. And then I
Right.
know what some of the things that he may have gotten from his father too. And you can't, that's a thing too. People can't deny the children you can't just turn folks into who you want them to be. That's why people are like, how these folks got mamas and daddies and they still be it's in them.
Right.
It's in them. We cannot keep on trying because that was one of my issues. I did do that for a while trying. It's not, I had a chore list because I need to teach you some kind of discipline because these folks that's trying to take y'all from me, these folks don't know what's going on in here. These folks don't know that y'all not in a sport. Y'all gonna be out here terrorizing people, children and neighborhood, right?
Wow.
So even though I did my best as long as I could, did what I could as long as I could with what I had and the people that came to help with that. But the thing is, the these people in Texas, they have certain laws, right? And this goes back to a village too. I know I'm kind of getting off Alien. I just been
Oh no.
talking Alien, but this goes back to a village. People were so adamant about trying to destroy what I was building, and you must remember I was a teenage mother, right?
Right.
But I'm still seeing how if I don't put a certain type of structure, because children always come back to what they knew. They
Right.
can go out here and get wild and bucket wild and do all these other things, but eventually, whatever is firmly planted in them, they will come back. When
That's
you
it.
get them before they 7, and then I think 11 is another age, you plant it in them then they'll come back to it. But
Right.
you got to get them before 7, and anything else that comes after that, you just like how I tell people, you're gonna have to just, baby, if they grown, look at your state rules. Because with my state, my children went. The people finally got their way. Soon as my kids go, well, one of them, soon as one of them goes, he gets locked up.
Mm.
And I'm like, and this, it's just a lot. I'll talk about that. I don't think I'm ready to talk about that right now because I've never brought that up. I'm bringing it up here on your show.
That's
But
fine.
there's a lot that goes with that because at the end of the day, people will want to destroy you so bad. They don't care what's attached to you. And they'll use what you love to try and destroy you, not knowing that they're destroying what you love. All right, Anna, let's get back to the book.
But I will say, like you were saying, we do need a village, but you have to be careful who's in your village. Not everybody, like you said, has an understanding or is wanting to understand. Some people want to rule your village, and they can't do that. They're just there to assist, and maybe talk to you on the side about what they see, but you know so you just have to be careful, and I say that, and that's with anything. That's with your businesses. As you're growing a business, when you're starting a team, you have to be careful who's on your team. You have to make sure that they are working on the team to make this vision come to pass. They're not starting their own vision, because then that brings the vision.
Right.
So it's the same thing, with building your empire of your business, or starting a school, things like that. So all of that applies. So, yeah. So tell us a little bit more about that book.
Okay. I can go. I can go with the conversation that we've um, apparently been having today, especially when it comes to children, because if we can catch them early,
Mm-hmm.
based on my experience, at least if you can catch them early, they'll come back around. It's not often that if they live long enough, like I tell people, oh, I've never done that. I've never been through that. Keep living, baby. You ain't
Exactly.
you ain't lived your whole life, and you ain't turned every corner.
Now, that's what I
So
say to people. I said, never, don't be so judgmental because you don't know where life is going to take you
that's
and
true.
what you're going to do. Because, there are times when I'll be like, oh my gosh, they drunk and they're acting silly, da 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 da. Well, I found myself drinking and being silly. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not to the same degree, but it was still something I said I wasn't going to do because I had seen that in my um in my family. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
just don't be so judgmental because you never know where life is going to take you.
Yeah. And that's a huge part of what the journal does too. It allows you to look at yourself from a raw and honest perspective, right? But here's the thing, that's about accountability. That's about recognizing that people, like, you're human and they are human too. No one is perfect. If you show me someone perfect, okay, please show me at least one person that is perfect, right? That has lived. Not don't come saying, oh yeah, because brand new babies are perfect. We ain't talking about brand. They ain't seen nothing yet that we know of anyway, right? But they
Right.
haven't seen anything. They ain't did nothing. We're not talking about that. Show me someone who was really out here in this world that has faced challenges, obstacles, that has really went through some trials and tribulations. You show me someone who has never done something that they regret,
Right.
right? Or if they haven't done, you show me someone who hasn't done something that is questionable.
Yeah, done something or either just lay down on themselves, on their lives and let other people push them around. You know what I'm saying? So that's not a perfect life just because you let other people tell you what to do, but you're so unhappy and you're like you said depressed, feeling anxiety. That's not what God has for us. That's not the life that you want to live.
No, but that's about standing up. A lot of people these days don't know their worth. They don't know their value. Self care and self love isn't a norm. People aren't. A lot of people are conditioned, and that's it. And it happens. Like someone who gets pushed around a lot, they are probably more than likely they are feeding off of that. They like that anyway. Oh no, I do this for them and do that. They like to have that. Sometimes people think that having that type of social credit is actually makes them somebody. No, that makes you somebody. Getting pushed around and always being there for people and not telling people no, you don't have any boundaries.
Right.
You don't have any reciprocation in your life. Without reciprocation, it causes resentment. You probably
Mm.
hold it within your body, because if it's in your mind, it'll get in your body and it forms into some type of disease, illness, or what have you. So
Mhm.
no, that you're right. I'm with you on that. That does not mean that you are perfect, and that doesn't even mean that. And that's when you go into the. I'm not. I've never been a huge church goer. Let me go ahead and put that out to you, okay?
That's fine.
But I do believe in God, and I also feel that there's so much judgment, classes,
Right, right.
hierarchy. No, because it don't take but one thing for you, God, to show you who is God. You think you up there? Let me show you something. I'm gonna bring you down here, and I'm gonna put this person that you just swore up and down, passed me every day on the street, looked at him crazy, I almost spat at him.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So people got to
Yep.
be careful with that. But that's
And
one of the reasons why I don't attend church, because of the judgment. Why, or you don't even, why would you even compare your life to someone else? Because there is someone that can compare their life to yours and make your life look like an ant egg.
ain't
But
that it? But yeah, I mean, but you're right. I mean, and that's the thing about it. Where's the love in everything? Where's the love in the village? Where's the love in the church? Where's the love in the community? That's what we have to, migrate to because again, everybody is different. I don't care if, you've been in church or whatever for 50 years. There's still something you can learn. There's still, a measure that you can grow to. There's still, but if you've been in there for 50 years and working for the Lord, then you should be helping to impart good things and wisdom and strength and peace into people's life, you
right.
know. So, honey, it's the
But I'm glad you said that about 50 years, right? Because you could have easily said, you've been doing this 10, 15. No, 50, right? Um, when I worked for the last job that I had, I sold insurance plans to senior citizens that happened to be booted from IBM, Whirlpool, a whole lot of those big companies that booted and took their retirement money, basically, right? Um, I would talk to them, and there were so many different stories, so many different points of view. I had one woman I talked to, you just reminded me. She went all her life doing things a certain way because she was still conditioned to the point where this was the only way to do it. This was
Mm-hmm.
what they said. This is how it goes. She
Right.
didn't know how to think outside of the box until after our conversation because we were on the phone a pretty long time. Uh, and she did begin to see things differently. But a lot of times people get so caught up in what works for them, like those 50 years. You get caught up in what works for you and what's been working for you. Ain't nobody really called you out on your stuff from what I'm seeing, how that's something you could probably tweak, ma'am. That's something that, you may want to, instead of causing rifts and things like that. But you have to understand a lot of people, going back to what you said about the love, love is the most powerful um, energy, the most powerful um, form of appreciation, gratitude. I don't know. Love is all powerful because I know I've been so down and out, didn't have two nickels to rub together.
Right.
With my love for God and the way that I would just sit in prayer, sit in prayer, meditate. I don't know what's about to happen, but something about to happen. When you got love that deep and you just know that I know I'm gonna be taken care of.
Mm.
I know that's why it makes it easier for you to give because you know it's gonna come right on back. It's
Right.
easier for you, even if you giving your time with this. This is your time. This is, you're giving us this and we appreciate you. But when you start to look at people outside, and that's another reason the journal was created as well, because when people begin to see that I'm not as loving as I think I am,
Mm.
I'm not as peaceful as I think I am, this journal gets for real. Like you can go to Amazon.com and see the reviews. I have reviews all over my YouTube channel. I have a highlight with nothing but reviews on Instagram. This journal gets down to business. This gonna make you look at yourself real strong and long. Like, whoa,
Mm.
whoa, whoa. If I had an argument, I'll show you real quick. Cause I know, Andy, I'm just, I could just talk to you all day, honey. But on this side, I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's on there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a space where, real quick. So you wake up in the morning and do a meditation, your prayer, whatever it is, anything can be, you can adjust it for how you learn because everyone learns different.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't when I created this, since it took me a lifetime to get to this point, to make it easier. What I'm thinking for people, right? I had to literally live like this, but it was like years and years on end. But for me to put in a journal, that was amazing. It's even still amazing to me. So we wake up in the morning and we do a meditation to ground ourselves to really get centered. Um, because we pray when we wake up, we meditate so that we can listen or just be. I like to just be at this time. I like to just connect
Right.
uh, with my heart and with God. I connect. Just you just sit in that connection. You sit in that energy. You sit in it because a lot, if a lot of things come pouring into your mind so early in the morning, that means that yes, you didn't clear some out last night. Because one thing about it, today is a new day.
Right.
You got, so you do your 20-minute meditation or however long. There's a space to add how long of a meditation you're doing because this is about progression and nobody's going to start out perfect, right?
Right.
And they do an affirmation. You create your own affirmation for the day based on your meditation.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, and of course, you can put the date here, but there's how are you feeling when you wake up? There's an AM mood and a PM mood. So you come back later on in the day, later on
Mm-hmm.
that evening. All right. Then you do your AM gratitude. What are you so happy and so grateful for right now? What are you so thankful for? Like I have, thank you for mental clarity. Because you want to also make sure that how you start your day and the words that you are telling yourself, because you got to speak life over yourself every morning. Because a lot of times people depend on others. That's why they look up for validation outside themselves. We no, that's a no. When you are standing fully in your truth, because we're all leaders in our own way, especially we're personal leaders. We have leadership roles, right?
Right.
Not leadership in a way that how the Greeks say leadership is, right?
Right.
Not those ways. We are leaders in our own way. What is the price? What is the cost? What is the sacrifice for what it is that we our vision, right? But that's neither, and that's another story. And stop taking me off the topic, girl. God, I'm trying to get this because people need this journal in their hand. So you got your excuse me, AM gratitude. You go ahead and say everything that you are thankful for that comes to mind. You have your PM gratitude that comes later in the day when you come back. So this is all that you're doing in the morning. You're just gonna do your meditation. Go ahead and do some affirm what it is that affirm uh, whatever your affirmation is for the day. And
Right.
usually with affirmations, I teach that whatever is going on, um, you affirm the opposite of it, right? You
Right.
affirm, because where the mind dwells, the reality swells. Thoughts are things or can become things, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you do your AM mood, your affirmation, your meditation, and your AM gratitude. Boom, right? Consistency is key because what's going to happen is it's going to begin to show people themselves. So you come home, Chad. Now you done cussed out everybody, them closed the door on an old lady at the store. Ain't no telling what you done did. You done ran somebody off the road.
Right. Right.
Ain't no telling. So you come to clear the clutter that evening. And with clearing the clutter, this is your mind dump. This is where you're very raw and honest with yourself. And it's like you just start talking. You just start talking. Let them use you. Let them use you. Let them use you. You just get to talking and rambling or what have you, right?
Mhm.
Not judging yourself. You can get on here and say that piss post stacker because you're gonna come back and have to eat them words on this side of here. So you can
Right.
do everything. Oh, and it hurts so bad because also what happens is I've learned personally, and I'm pretty sure there's some kind of methods out there for it. When I don't know why I started coughing.
I do
Excuse me.
that too on the show. I'd be like, I don't never cough, and then I get on the show trying to talk.
Right? Okay, Allie. I'm trying to get this out so I can let you go. Okay.
Oh, you good?
So when it comes to when you just start writing and talking to yourself, right? You'll be amazed at the answers that come through in that writing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they are clearing the clutter here. And when you clear the clutter, what happens is you begin to see, I call them highlights. Like what in here will what is your attention drawn to? I can't believe my baby dad did this, that, and the other. That's why I went over there and put a brick up and through there. Well, why you didn't think that through? So people are using this as an observation, right? So you observe your clutter, your brain dump.
Uh-huh.
You observe your clutter, and in your observations are your answers, because we all got our own answers, right? We can answer to if we can question something, we can get the answer,
Right.
right? We
Right.
can receive the answer. We can be shown the answer. Things get the lining up. Don't get me started right around here, because I got a couple of stories. But things get the lining up when you ask a question.
Right.
You gotta do nothing but ask and wait. Just wait, just hold on. That answer gonna come. We don't know how it's gonna come. We don't know who the answer gonna come through. We don't know if the answer gonna come on a TV commercial ad. We don't know if the answer gonna come through somebody knocking at our door with the wrong door. We
Come
don't
on.
know where the answer gonna come from, but it will be in. All you gotta do is ask.
That's it.
Right. And so you do your mindful observation. What you observe from your clutter, what happens is you begin to see what actions that you need to take moving forward. You get to see your patterns of behavior, because I'm real huge on
Mm-hmm.
recognizing, defeating, and preventing patterns of behavior. So you begin to see like certain stuff that stand out. Like, did I really need to lose my cool? It makes you go back and look at the human side of things. It has you to go back and look at your interactions. Like, you get to see in black and white or whatever color you write in, you get to see how people been telling you you've been like that all your life, but now you see it right here.
Mm-hmm.
Your hot temper, right? You whatever it is. And so on this side, So you do your once you do all of this, then you do your PM gratitude because you're gonna find something to be grateful for out of this. Because somebody probably
Mhm.
could have slapped you, choked you down. Could have lost your job right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So,
right,
on this side, I this is this journal is designed to help people become more mindful, present, and aware. Right? All jokes aside, but you have how many times did your mood change? So you write out as much if you can remember, right? How
right,
many times your mood changed today, right? You're gonna
right,
see it in her
right.
because you know what I mean. Was it just really a good day the whole day? Because happiness and joy is a choice.
It's
People
true.
looking for it outside of themselves and they don't know it's a choice. So conscious did you how many times did you consciously oh that's me the way I be talking to myself conscious recenter and refocus and how many times did you subconsciously recenter or refocus, right? The trick with this, okay, the more that you grow, like I used to have a hot temper. That's why I use that as an example. My back in the day, because I always had to defend. I was
Yeah.
always in a stance, warrior stance. And with the recentering and refocusing consciously, if you are making a conscious decision, like I'm gonna spur you, I'm not going. I had to recenter and refocus, right? I'm gonna spur you. The more that you grow, it happens subconsciously. It's like I'm just grown, baby. I'm really just, I'm too grown for that. You
Right,
know, over
right.
here, there's too much maturity for that. Over here, I'm not gonna waste my energy on that.
That.
Like you too expensive, baby. It costs too much for me to go off on you. It costs me too much energy to expel, right? Because
Right.
everything is current. So you put those there because you are really getting familiar in these we taking a 30-day intervals. You really are getting very familiar with yourself and how you operate. By the end of these 90 days, if things have not changed where you are more you're having some of the same recurring patterns, but you're responding differently. If that's not happening, that means that you're not doing the work in a space where it's what do you call it? On purpose and with purpose,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So with the clarity, you go ahead and jot down the clarity that you receive from what it is that you observe, because this is where you will begin to pay attention to your really pinpoint patterns and how you plan on um, changing. Now I see. I was once blind. No, wait a minute. I was once blind,
And
but
now,
now I see.
yes.
And like I tell my people, once you see, you can't unsee. You can
Right.
act like you didn't see that no more. You can act like, nah, that don't mean nothing. You can act like it. That don't mean that that's what that is. So every 30 days, um, they do a review over their progress. And the 30 days is every 30 days. Let me see if I can find it. There are no page numbers because like I tell people, you don't catch up if you fall off, you catch in. Because you
Mm,
can't go back and try to be where you were.
right.
It don't happen like that, baby.
Right.
There's a whole lot of living be going on. So then there's 30-day reviews with some questions to ask yourself and really revisit. And then you do a 30-day review plan. Uh-huh. So you do a
Okay.
30-day review plan and then you move into your next 30 days. And see,
Okay.
once you go to your by the time you make it to your 90 day, you can go back because I like to tell them, don't go back looking at everything, trying that's a cheating on the test right there. Cheating on the test. But you do those things and then you go back with your 90-day review and see how you really have changed and how far you have come in a short amount of time as a person when it comes to, your self-help, your self-improvement. And like I tell them, this is an heirloom. Did nobody hand us nothing about the challenges. They tell us certain things, but had those who came behind us had really given us some type of what they went through, but also had some highlights or uh, pinpointing types of situations and circumstances because we repeat a lot of stuff. It's just in different clothes.
Right. So true. Oh, I like that. I like all of that. The dump and everything because and even in the beginning of the day, a lot of times that alarm clock goes off and we hit it a couple times and then we get up and we just jump up because oh we gotta go. We gotta get busy. The kids is late. We don't care if they eat or not. Get this banana. Come on. You know what I'm saying? So I think you're right. It really, in the beginning of your day, you have to set the intention. You have to set the time. You got to set the pattern. You know what I'm saying? Things are going to happen. But when
Yeah.
you set yourself, on a solid foundation, then you're able to handle. Because, let's just take me for example. If I go into work late and people start, what we need, where are we on this? What happened here? Then I'll be like, leave me, I answer when I want to, but I got an attitude because I know I'm late and I don't even know what's going on and I got to catch up. So if I get there and I'm centered, when they start asking me those questions, I'll be like, well, I can still say I'll answer you in 30 minutes, but I say it in a different way, right? So,
Mhm.
and I think, like you said, that book is good for everything. It could be for the family, like you said, the children. It could be even when you're getting ready, like you said, building your business. What's been my mindset? What blocks me every day? Because I get up with this intention, and I'm excited about building or creating. But then what happens in the day that stops me from doing that? What happens where I'm like, now I'm just like, I ain't doing this because I can't do this. I don't know how to do this, because what happens from this time to this time, you be so excited. You be on cloud nine. You think you can walk on water. Then over here, you just like, I ain't never going to be able to get my head above water. And so we really do need to take that time and figure out what's happening in our lives, what's happening
Mhm.
inside of us. What are those generational things that we've been talking about, that those voices that come to you and be like, girl, you ain't nobody. uh-uh who are you? You ain't nobody, you got to go.
Right. That's why you're right. Mm, mm-mm. But you're right though, because wow, you're right. Especially being a business owner, because you got to be your own cheerleader. And when you were saying like that voice that comes in, like, who are you to be doing this? You have to affirm and confirm who you. If not me, then who?
Right.
You know, because it can get to that point, especially if you're doing something and you're breaking barriers and you're doing something different. um those, and that just creeps in ever so often. It creeps in every other level. The higher that you go, the more that you accomplish, it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back. That's why you got to go ahead and get your go-to's. I tell people, get them 5 go-to's. No matter what it is that you do, if you need 5 go-to's about certain prayers that you got to go to, if you need 5 go-to's when it comes to recentering and focusing yourself, 5 affirmations, 5 words of confirmation, 5 declarations that you go to counter whatever is trying to come through. Because a lot of times things that we think, that comes from other people too. If
Right.
someone is talking ill about you, you best believe you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it somewhere in your spirit that something ain't right, that somebody wants to take you down. So that's why you have to stay with your sword on deck. That's why I tell people, it's love, light, and fight. Because you're gonna have to know how to defend yourself. Even angels
Mhm.
have swords.
Yep.
So when it comes to you and your business, and having to confirm the opposite of something, that, because once it starts to fester, and if you allow it to keep on just talk, now you're gonna have to shut up. you
Right.
know. And it's a separation from the ego as well, because the ego wants you to stay where you were. Parts of yourself want you to stay where you were. It's comfortable there. Like,
Right.
nah, sister, we don't wear that no more. We don't do things like that no more, sister. You can sit over here in the passenger seat and let me drive. I got the wheel, sister. Don't worry about it. I know it's scary that we leaving off and going off somewhere, and we don't know exactly where we going and how it look on the other end. We having our head what it look like, sister. You got to talk
Right.
to your old self like that.
You do.
You know?
Yes, Lord. Come on with it. Well, Lulu, stay with us. We're gonna take a real quick break, and when we come back, I just want you to tell people how they can follow you. Remind them where your book is, and just your last words of impartation, encouragement, or whatever is laid on your heart to say. Okay,
Okay.
we'll be right back.
Okay.
Thank you for being such a wonderful listening audience, whether you were listening live or on the replay. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, Making Connections with Aly and Shay, so that you can get notified every time we go live. Do you have a burning message to share with the audience? Contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com with your topic idea and your message to be booked on the show. And if you're an inspirational speaker or a motivator or simply seeking a platform to share your message, contact Miss Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime right here on the Making Connections Network. Again, contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime, your own radio show right here on the Making Connections Network.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. And just a reminder, this is Making Connections with Aly, and we are here every Saturday at 12 noon and every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you go like our Facebook page. We have IG and all that good stuff, but we mostly deal with Facebook. So go to Facebook, turn on your notifications so you'll know when we go live. And yeah, join us. Whether you have something to say or if you got somebody you want to introduce us to have on the show, hey, we are open. So again, if you want more information, send an email to that email address or give us a text at 980-389-6826. And I have thoroughly enjoyed our conversation today with Lulu I Love. She's got so many things that we could talk about. We might have to have her on the show again and go another path because I know that there is so much inside of her. So, Lulu, thank you for joining us today. And I definitely want you to tell everybody how they can follow you, how they can get the journal, and just your last words of wisdom.
Okay, I would love to come back. So just, you can't, I'm open to the invite. Um, the journal is available on Amazon.com. You can simply put in a 90-day journey to mindfulness, and the journal will pop up. It is there's another mindfulness journal on there, but you will know mine. When it's driven, baby. So you'll know this one when you see it. It's undeniable. Um, you can get it there. You can also get it on my website, thehouseofoshun.com. I have my mystic pantry over there where I do have crystals and I have bells and herbs and all that, but the book is there. Okay. You can also follow me on Instagram at the House of Oshun. You can follow me on YouTube, House of Oshun. There's over 200,000 housemates on YouTube. So we have an extensive following. Over on YouTube, we have a little over 26,000 followers on Instagram. I do have a Twitter, but I'm rarely there because it's just too many things going on, too many hands, too many plates spinning. It's too much.
Yes, honey.
But leaving out, I do want to remind people that we are all leaders in our own right, and if people allow themselves to play their part, you play your part, I play my part, and we bring all of the parts together, and of course we're all part of one huge collective, right? We're just a grain of sand. There's a lot to learning and honing your gifts and your abilities, right? The learning never stops. So I just want people to remember that a lot comes with standing in your truth and standing in your power so much. If you think that you've gone through things, just imagine how much more that you are going. Because once you unlock your gift and once you really stand up for yourself and once you really get out here and do what you were called to do, you're not doing what nobody else was called to do. You're not making up what you are called to do. You really are in alignment with your assignment. There is no way, no how that no one else could have been appointed for what it is you are doing and how you came to do it. You know that you are whole, separate, and unique. When you really, really know it, it's going to be something in your spirit that lights fire under your tail. right? But you must also know that there's a lot that is required of people who really stand in their truth. I don't care if you're standing in your truth and you working at McDonald's and you are gonna be the best. You going from cashier to manager. You got plans and you making it happen. You're gonna have people come up against you and criticize you. You're gonna have people come up against you and turn on you. You're gonna have people turn on you. You're gonna have a lot of it's gonna be a lot of self-sacrifice. It's gonna be a lot of lonely days and lonely nights, right? But you must not give up. You must continue to move forward. So if I wanted to leave anything today, I would leave that um, life is about building healthy and long lasting relationships. Because no, if you want to go somewhere, you go by yourself. If you want to go far, you go with people. And that's where people are forgetting about. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody is in self-serving. If you
Right.
get, they got to get out of that. I don't deal with self-serving because it's very selfish, right? We have times when we need to be selfish, especially when creating boundaries and things and having taking time out to take care of ourselves. But when it comes to building a community and building a village and really working with people of integrity,
That's it.
I want to leave with that. Make sure that you are building up your relationships out here. Whoever is listening to this, building up your relationships. Only hang with people who celebrate you and you celebrate them. They are excited about whatever it is you got going on, and you get excited about what they got going on. Because life is shorter than you think. You got birth, you got death. It's a dash in between. It comes in and we out, baby. Somebody just, probably passed while we were doing
Oh, yeah.
interview. You never know.
Yeah.
I've had 2 deaths this year in my family. I would never have thought, but you never know. We so busy getting into life, we forget that you can really roll up out here at any time, and anyone can actually roll up out here at any time.
Right.
So I'm so happy and so grateful that you allowed me to be on your show and run my mouth. Okay, Miss Aly.
Anytime, anytime. I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I mean, because you give us so much to think about, so much to feed on, and like you said, we do so much to be in life, but we forget to live. So let's live, y'all. Let's live well. Let's live above and not beneath. Okay. Let's have abundance because that is our portion. And so, see, you're not gonna get me started. It's the end of the show. So, guys, we love you. We appreciate you. Again, we're here every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Saturday at 12 noon. Continue to join in because this is just God is just gonna do more and more of this kind of thing. And so we know that you are blessed if you want to be blessed. But until next time, from Making Connections with Aly, Lulu, thank you. We're leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.